From the Siouxland News Studio, the Wayne State Basketball Coaches Show with Sports Director Jordan Furby.
And welcome into another edition of the Wayne State Coaches Show. We are joined this week by Wayne State men's head coach Brian Dolan. Coach, thanks for joining us once again.
Thanks for having us as always.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, kind of a tough stretch that you guys have been going on a little bit lately. 2 games last week again. One of them on Friday was your old team, Upper Iowa. Unfortunately, result not the way we wanted. A 73-53 loss. Really 22 turnovers kind of doomed the team from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close game first half. We were down 1 at halftime, I believe, and came out and took the lead early in the second half, and they went on a little 10-0 run. Kind of established themselves in the game, and they did a nice job of pressuring us defensively. We didn't handle it very well. Took some quick shots, which led to some quick run-outs for them. They're a team that likes to play in transition. Joey Woods is a very good player for them, their senior guard. And then, just we didn't make shots, and we were horrible from the free throw line, 15 of 29, I believe, but missed a couple front end and 1-1. So you're not going to win too many games if you do that. So bad free throw shooting and a lot of turnovers. It's a bad combination, and so that's what happens. And
we talked a little bit about it last week, but kind of interesting for you personally because these are the guys you recruited to Upper Iowa last year, having been the coach there the last couple of years. What was kind of that experience like? I know we talked a little bit about it last week, but just kind of go into a little bit more.
It was different. It was unique. Every player for Upper Iowa was the guys that myself and my staff recruited there, and they're all great kids and still very close with most of them, and a lot of their families were there, so it was good to see all them because this is about relationships, and I miss those guys a lot, but. It was time for us to move on when we left there, and wish them nothing but the best of luck. Cheer for them every game except for the times when they suit up against us. So I'm happy to see them. They got another win against Augustana the night after our game, and they've got a couple more. They got 4 home games left to finish the season. One against us on senior night. So hopefully we can get our revenge that night.
Absolutely. Talking about Saturday night's game against Winona State, seemed like a better effort from the team on Saturday night. Still a 79-67 loss, but again, you guys were right in there at halftime. Do you feel like the team played a little bit better Saturday night?
Yeah, I think we made shots. I mean, anytime we've talked about this on the show before. Anytime we make shots, we're a better team. But I think it was 40-33 at halftime, roughly, something like that, and we'd missed a couple free throws down the stretch and gave up some transition buckets and offense rebounds. Was kind of the difference in the first half. We held them in check pretty much in the half court. The second half, they ran it up on us a little bit, got up to about 14 or 15, I think, at one point, where kids did a nice job battling back, got it back to single digits. The kids just kept competing as they did all night. We didn't shoot very many free throws in the second half. It's one of those games I wasn't very pleased with the officiating. I definitely thought it was not officiated like most of the games all year had been officiated. We didn't even get to the bonus in the second half, and I don't think that's happened all but one time this year and a half. So, but I thought our kids competed well, and we're back at it and getting ready for this weekend.
And one of the guys that's seen me really well, I think the last couple of weeks, has been Ryan Rolfson. Another great night on Saturday versus Winona. He had 18 points. What's kind of his play meant? I mean, obviously the result's not where you guys want, but we've been talking about this. It's almost like a never quit, especially Ryan. It's tough, but he's still battling every night.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see our 4 seniors are the guys that are battling every night, and Ryan being a 4-year senior there at Wayne State shows you where our kids' mentality's at and where their character's at. They're not going to give up. It's been rough here the last couple of weeks, but I think looking at the schedule, you could tell going down the stretch, the last 10 games, we're going to be tough. And we put Ryan back in the starting lineup Saturday night. He kept it close. We didn't come out of the chutes very hot against Winona. I think we got down 8-0, but Ryan, made some shots there to keep us in it till we got the fog knocked out of us or whatever, and we started playing a little bit better. So that's what you expect out of your seniors, and he's just doing his job and doing his role, and hopefully he can finish out the season on a good note.
Absolutely. Only 2 games left for the Wildcats, including 2 of them coming up this week. Coming up this weekend, they will be playing Northern State. Obviously, they played them last night, and then MSU Moorhead coming up on Saturday. We'll get Coach's thoughts on the games ahead this week coming up after the break.
Siouxland News presents the Wayne State Coaches Show on Fox 44.
And welcome back to the Wayne State Coaches Show. We're joined by men's head coach Brian Dolan. Coach, the final 2 home games of the regular season, almost hard to believe that it's already here. You guys faced Northern State last night, and then another tough one this evening against MSU Moorhead. These are 2 teams that are right at the top of the Northern North Division, and going to be 2 tough challenges.
Yeah, 2 totally different teams. You would have seen last night, Northern is a very defensive-oriented team, play extremely hard, run a spread, wide, open, motion offense, and those keep running off screens and do what they want to do. And Moorhead is not a very physical team, a little bit more finesse. They like to fire it up there, shoot a ton of threes. They're definitely trying to outscore you. If we're shooting the ball even slightly okay tonight, we should probably put up our season high, I would imagine, point-wise. But the question is, are we going to be able to slow them down enough on the other end of the floor to stay in the game?
Absolutely. And looking, I mean, we've only got a couple more weeks until the NSIC tournament. Now's the time. I guess now's the time we got to start breaking that and get that stuff going, because anything can happen. I mean, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. Anything can happen once you get hot at the right time, especially with the tournament coming up in just two short weeks.
Well, hopefully we're done pacing ourselves and we're ready to finish out the year. No, I think guys' attitude's been great. Their effort's been great. I can't argue with that or complain about that. They're doing the best that they can, and we'll fight right down the wire. And our guys will keep competing and keep trying to represent the school in the first-class manner. And I think we can. If everything goes right, we can pull out a couple more wins. You never know once you get into the tournament. The South is traditionally stronger than the North, so I'd like to see if we can finish in that that 6 seed area. 7's probably a little low, but if you get in that 6-5 seed area, then you got a chance to go on the road and get a win in the conference tournament. But it's all about playing well at the right time. We're just one game at a time, and we've won some road games this year, so wherever we have to go in that conference tournament, we'll go and we'll give it our best shot. And if it's good enough, then we'll go with our women's team up to Sioux Falls for the conference tournament that following Saturday.
Now, for you, is it about the draw? I mean, does it really depend on the tournament, or is it just kind of wherever we go?
Well, I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think Bemidji is a hard matchup for us, a clear-cut top team in the North, in my opinion. I mean, I know they're closely packed in there, St. Cloud and Northern and Moria, but I think Bemidji would be a tough draw for us. It's a 9-hour drive up there. But, I mean, I don't think we can't beat them. It's not that. But if we drew anybody else, I think we could go on the road and have a comfortable trip and have a realistic chance of getting a win. But, between now and then, we got to do our job to position ourselves to have that opportunity and to keep playing and keep guys healthy. We only have 6 healthy bodies right now. We got 2 other guys that can't even practice except 1 day a week. And then they have to choose whether they're going to practice the day before we play or to go through shoot-around. So injuries and some other issues, our numbers are down a little bit, but I'm proud of the guys that are still dressing out every day and guys that are lacing them up on Friday and Saturday night, and the school should be proud of them too, because they're representing them well.
Absolutely. Okay, well, the Wildcat men back in action this evening against MSU Moorhead. That will be at Rice Auditorium at 6 p.m. Coach, I want to thank you for joining us. We'll see you here in a couple blocks.
Appreciate it.
Well, coming up next, we'll hear from the women's side of things with Coach Kielsmeyer. That's coming up after the break. And welcome back. We're joined by women's head coach Chris Kielsmeyer now. Coach, you guys are in the midst of a nice little 7-game winning streak. Another successful weekend for the girls. Friday night, maybe not the prettiest game, but a defensive effort nonetheless. You guys only held Upper Iowa to 29 points. Not only, you guys held 29 points to them. Very good effort for the girls. Maybe a slow start offensively, but a 56-29 win is a win nonetheless.
Yeah, this time of year it's just about winning games. It's not necessarily about winning pretty or anything. Just find a way to get that W. And defensively, I thought we were as sharp as we'd been all year. On the offensive end, I thought we were very efficient. We just didn't hit shots.
Yeah.
When you get good shots and your execution is good, we didn't turn it over a lot. I thought there was a lot of good things to be proud about with our offense, but the game comes down to just put the ball in the hole, and if you can't do that, then you're going to struggle putting up a good point total at the end of the night, and that's what the night was. When we went 1 for 16 from three-point range, and most of those were open shots, most of those were shots that our players are going to hit. They just didn't hit them that night, and some nights you're not going to shoot the ball that well, and you've got to be good enough in other areas of the game, and we were that night, and found a way to get a big win for us. And
defensively too, we talked about it a little bit, but I mean, you held Upper Iowa 10 minutes in the second half without a single point. I mean, a lot of times when you shoot how you did from three-point range and just from the field in general, you're not going to win a lot of games. But like you just said, you guys were great in other aspects of the game, defense being one of them, and it paid big dividends. You still won by 27 points.
Yeah, our defense was outstanding in holding them down, but our defense also turned into a lot of offense, and that's been something that we've really tried to concentrate on with our players lately, that to be a really elite team, we really feel like you need to generate offense off of your defense, and we've been really good at that lately, and forced Upper Iowa into a lot of turnovers, and those turnovers led to some easy points in transition, and when you're playing that way defensively, it just makes you great on both ends of the floor, and that was great to see us continue to get better with that.
Absolutely. And then Saturday night, almost night and day difference. I mean, a great effort offensively and just kind of complete game effort. 91-57 win over Winona State. Ellen Hansen had a big night, 16 points, 60% shooting. Seemed like just a complete effort from the girls. They kind of turned it around on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was kind of the exact opposite. We came out and hit some shots early on and got a lot of confidence and played with a lot of energy. We were really fresh on Saturday. I'm very proud of our players I think that we've really figured out these back-to-backs. For a year and a half, I felt like this group of players had really struggled with figuring out the mental side of Saturday of the back-to-back, and just being prepared to play at the level that you need to be at your best. And that's something they'd struggled with. We'd concentrated on it. We tried to help them with it a lot. And, you know, sometimes it just takes experience and figuring it out on your own.
Yeah.
And we've been able to do that. And, you know, I thought Saturday was probably the most complete game that we had played all year on both ends of the floor. So it was great to see us play at that level. And this is the time of year where you want to be at your best. And, you know, by no means has this team peaked, and as no means do I think that this team can't play even at a higher level than what we did on Saturday. So we're excited to see where we can go with this thing.
And it seems like the wheels are starting to turn with this team as we get closer to the NSIC tournament. Looking at the conference standings, I know you don't focus a lot on this, but looking at it from a fan aspect, you guys have kept winning, and so is everybody else behind you. I mean, you have the 1-game lead over Northern State, who you guys played last night, and you have a 2-game division lead over Minnesota State and Concordia St. Paul, who they're both on 6- and 8-game winning streaks. So, I mean, it's as well as you guys have done, you really haven't created that much space. But just, I mean, does that conversation get brought up? I have to imagine it probably doesn't, because if being a coach, you're kind of just trying to keep the team with blinders on and just run your own race.
Yeah, well, actually, you know, we do talk about it quite a bit. We have a conference standing hung in our locker room, so they can see exactly where it's at. We talk about it every Monday of each week. You know, I think it's important that you really have an opportunity to communicate anything to them about the race. You don't in any way want to make it about the race.
Yeah.
You do just want to make it about playing the next game and winning the next game, and that's what we always try to make sure that we get our players to understand. But, you know, the better teams in this league have separated themselves this year, and as you've said, we've continued to win a lot of big games, and so has everybody else. So, you know, that makes each game moving forward that much more important. But, you know, again, it's only that much more important because of the fact that you've won all the games previously. So, you know, again, they still just count one game in the win or loss column. So just be at your best, enjoy the moment, and really just appreciate your time that you have with each other, and try to be at your best.
All righty. Well, as we said with the men, the last 2 games, home games of the regular season, are coming up for the Wildcats this weekend. One was last night. We'll talk about the MSU Moorhead game coming up after the break. And welcome back to the Wayne State Coaches Show. We're joined by women's head coach Chris Kielsmeyer. Chris, 2 big games again this weekend. You guys faced off against number 22 Northern State last night. Big conference game, big conference showdown for that game. Looking ahead to tonight's game, you guys get MSU Moorhead in the final home regular season game down at Rice Auditorium. You guys will obviously most likely be posting one in the conference tournament as well. But MSU Moorhead, kind of a sneaky good team. You know, they're right there kind of in the standings, but it's going to be a challenge for you guys, and I know that you expect getting every team's best every night that you guys play.
Yeah, and Moorhead's probably playing the best basketball that they have of the year. They've won 4 of their last 5 and gotten some really big wins in that stretch. They're a difficult matchup for us because they shoot the ball really, really well, and they've got a really good inside player. And defensively, we're just going to have to continue to try to make sure we're at our best and try to turn them over. We feel like they're a little bit weak taking care of the ball, and we feel like that's an area that we can exploit. But we just gotta play the game. You know, it's senior day. It's the last home regular season game for our 3 seniors, and Chantel, Karen, Ellen, and you know, those 3 players have meant a lot to our program, and you know, you just gotta be concerned about that. Just play with the emotion that you've played with all year, and really take it up another level, because you know, anytime that you're playing on senior day, you want to make sure that you give it a great day and a great experience for those seniors. So it'll be a special night for us tonight, and we need to make sure we're at our best.
How do you go through kind of the emotions of senior day? Obviously, I mean, it's neat for you as a coach to see how much that class has grown, but as far as the players and stuff goes too, I mean, just take us through kind of the emotions of what maybe we'll expect tonight.
Well, personally for me, you know, you try to deal with it throughout the course of the week, and kind of make sure that by the time game time rolls around, that's not the focus, and you're not worried about it. You've kind of prepared yourself. You know, these players have meant so much to our program and given, you know, me personally so much satisfaction to coach them. It's, you know, it's an emotional time for yourself, but you got to make sure that you have those emotions under control come game time. And you know, the players, you just want them to really appreciate the moment for the seniors. The younger kids, to me, always, you know, it's kind of your job to make sure that the seniors win on senior day. And you know, you don't want to put too much pressure on them, but on the flip side, I also think that it's just about letting that emotion carry you through the day. And you know, we always have a big celebration after the game with family and friends and parents and everybody, and it's really a neat day. But you know, again, it's just about winning the game. You got to win the game for it to be a lot of fun, and that is always the focus.
Well, it almost seems like you maybe get that extra effort out of everybody else on the team because they want to send out the seniors with that big win. So you get everybody playing hard on tonight, hopefully.
Yeah, you know, it's just, you've got to control those emotions, though. You know, as I said, for me, you know, I always try to make sure that I've got it taken care of during the week of just, you know, get those thoughts out of your head throughout the course of the week. And when it comes time for game time, that your focus is to try to do your part in trying to help your players be successful. And, you know, that's the thing I'm always concerned with our players. It's an emotional day. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of emotion and a lot of extra emotion that comes with senior day. You got to be able to control that and put yourself in a position to be able to play your best. And that's not easy, but you know, it still needs to continue to be about just playing the game, so go out and win.
And there's still a lot of basketball left, so there's no need to get too emotional yet. You guys have a long road ahead of you.
Well, and we'll talk about that as well. This is not going to be the last time that the seniors are going to play at home, because we will get to host a first-round conference tournament game, and we're also trying to host regionals, and that's still something that can be accomplished out there. So, you know, again, there's a lot at stake, but don't worry about the future. Just control your emotions for the day and just be at your best.
Alrighty. Well, again, the women take the floor tonight at Rice Auditorium at 4 o'clock against MSU Moorhead. Coming up next, we'll have Coach Dolan join us back here, and we'll get both coaches' 3 thoughts on victory over Moorhead. That's coming up after the break. And welcome back to the Wayne State Coaches Show. We're joined by both coaches now for our final segment. Coach Kielsmeyer, we'll start with you. MSU Moorhead tonight, as we mentioned, senior night for the 3 ladies tonight. Biggest things, 3 keys that you see for victory getting over tonight?
Well, number one, like we talked about earlier, the emotion. We just got to make sure that we control our emotions and be able to put ourselves in a position to play our best. They're going to be jacked up to play. We'll be jacked up to play. You know, wanting to win on senior day will really carry the focus for a lot of the players, and you just got to make sure that it becomes about just relaxing and playing the game. And you know, if we can settle in and play really well early on and get out and get going, then you know, I think it's gonna be a whole lot easier for us. So key number 2 is to start the game really well. Hopefully we can hit some shots early in the game, turn them over a little bit, get some shots in transition, and then be able to turn that into more offense. But key number 3 is for us to be at our best defensively. You know, we may or may not hit a lot of shots on Saturday, but we can control our defensive intensity, and we can control our ability to try to turn them over and get shots in transition. So, you know, just control your emotions, relax, hopefully start the game great and defend them great, and we'll hopefully have a great night.
And if the defense was any indication how it was last weekend, that should be a good goal for tonight.
Well, you know, just continue to get better. It's each game you want to try to play a little bit better than the time you did before, and you know, some teams have played their best basketball already, and you know, that's not us. So let's try to play a little bit better than what we did last weekend.
Alrighty. Well, Coach Dolan, same question. Obviously tonight is the regular season home finale for you guys. 4 seniors on senior night. I can imagine a lot of emotion too. I know this is a new class for you, obviously this being your first year, but still going to be a fun atmosphere for the gentlemen this evening.
Absolutely. Senior night's always a great night. You know, there's 3 of our 4 seniors have been at Wayne State for 4 years now, and Jared's a transfer in this year is from USD, but he played with Abdul Long in high school, so they all know each other pretty well. So it's a big night for them. You just hope the best for them. Hope they play well. Lots of friends and families there for them, that they get to go out with an opportunity to win the game, their last game at Rice.
And then obviously looking at the game itself, kind of the 3 biggest keys for MSU Moorhead. Obviously this is a very solid team, but what are kind of the maybe 3 things that need to get done for you guys to walk away with a victory?
Well, it's a little different keys for us tonight than it has been all year. Number 1 is similar, though. We got to chase them off the 3-point line. They love to shoot the 3. They're a high-power offensive team, but it all starts with them getting off from the 3-point line. What's different for us tonight, it's been a different key, is going to be we need to expose them defensively. They're not great defensively. They don't pretend to be good defensively. They are strictly trying to outscore you. So we're going to have opportunities to to get good looks and to have chances to attack the basket, get some wide open looks from the 3-point line. We have to knock those down. I think for us to win tonight, scoring the ball at a percentage, our field goal percentage has got to be higher than it typically is. And number 3, we got to control the tempo. They want to play fast. We don't want to play fast. We don't want to get an up and down game with them. We think that favors them. So we really need to control the tempo. That doesn't mean we want to play slow, but what that means is we don't want to get in a race with them where they're shooting 3s in transition. We're taking bad shots. They're getting quick runouts like happened to us in the Upper Iowa Winona State weekend. So those are the three biggest keys, but that second one is probably bigger this game than any other game we've played all year. We have got to take advantage of them being poor defensively.
Okay, well, again, both men and women play MSU Moorhead tonight at 4 and 6 p.m. Gentlemen, best of luck, and thanks for joining us. That is going to do it for the Wayne State Coaches Show. We will see you next week, and as always, go Cats.
This has been the Wayne State Coaches Show, presented by Siouxland News on Fox 44.